Our first inductee this evening is Julius Hess from our class of 1895. Dr. Hess is represented this evening by his grandson, Bill Saphir. Mr. Saphir.
I'd also like to thank John and a couple other people for at least getting Dr. Julius Hess' name here. And that is Stan Gall and Sidney Stiefel. And I'd also like to thank Mary Morgan and Anita Kalka and John and his staff. Thank you very much. This is an honor. I'll be very quick. I could start by talking about a couple items here, tangibles and intangibles. The tangibles are what are on the plaque here, what Dr. Hess presented here. But there's also intangibles and who the character of the person is. I'd like to just give you a little background on my grandfather. But before I do that, I also like to introduce my brother John, my sister Beth, and my daughter Jill, who are also here representing when it comes to my grandfather, we know a lot about from what the articles have been written about him, but when he was 16 years old, I don't think this is too much well known here, when he was 16 years old, his first semester of his sophomore year, his father died suddenly, followed by his sister the following week. And that was, for ordinary people, I shouldn't say it this way, but it was a shock. And there was some doubt whether he would continue continue going to school. After all, he was 16 years old, it's 1895. They had a factory, and it was logical that he, being the oldest son, would continue in the factory. But he had a dream of going to medicine, and he had a dream, and his parents, his mother and family supported him, and he continued with high school. And that was fortunate. So he graduated in 1895, and by 1899 he was a doctor. And then he just took off from there. And what that tells us is that one of the intangibles is he had a dream and he kept with it. Now his dream was, and dreams can also go in different directions, and one of his directions was he wanted to be a surgeon. But for various reasons he didn't do that. So his second choice was pediatrics, and I always said surgery's loss was pediatrics' gain. And also the world's gain, and all the preemies that were born, and all the babies that were born that may not have been born. And he also bucked some of the tradition. At that time, it was common knowledge that any birth beyond or not, that didn't reach 7 months would not survive. And he didn't take that for granted. And obviously today, that's really the case. We have kids being born well under a pound, well under a kilogram, well under 2 pounds. And his work here enabled that to be possible. Let me give saying a couple words about his character, and that was he was compassionate, he was austere, and he had an austere air about himself. It wasn't pompous. He had a commanding personality, a commanding person, and which left people in awe, and for some reason they felt that he had a sense of importance, but he was an uncommon person in that regard. He was not boasting. He was kind and gentle, and this is especially to the patients, not only to the patients, but also to the mothers, just to give them a sense of security that things are going to be okay. That's the kind of person he was. He was a teacher, and he led things, didn't want to necessarily, he preferred being in the background a lot of times. One of the successes that he did with the neonatal care was he let his nurse take the forefront in handling it. And he co-wrote with her those books. So he shared everything that he succeeded in, and he let people know that. I mean, he let people take the limelight as well as he did, so that was part of his character. And the reason I bring all these things up is because, getting back to roots, he and his roots were here in Ottawa. He exemplified Ottawans. He got that from his environment right here. And so I think people here in the audience here, as well as the school, should feel very proud of what they do every day, how they can get translated into great things. And that's you right here in the audience. He was a gentle man, simple. And one thing that during an interview, when he was in his 70s, he was being interviewed by a newspaper man. He was asked, what of all your greatest accomplishments would you say would be number one? And without flinching, he replied, his grandchildren. So he lived for his family. So I'm very proud to be part of that legacy. And I'm being proud to be able to share that legacy with you. So I want to thank you all again once more, and I hope you got to know Dr. Hess a little bit better. Thank you very much.